Jai Shri Krishna. I would like to explain what a horoscope is in today's video. This is a series of understanding astrology in a very simple manner, and I would like to undertake this starting today. And let's analyze what a horoscope is in simple terms in today's video. So many people have this question, and it's been asked so many times that I just came up in a hurry with this video. It's so important and people want to know what a horoscope is. Some people think I'm pulling predictions out of a magic box. So I wanted to clarify what a horoscope is. And of course, many of the viewers have curiosity, innate curiosity on how astrology as a subject functions. So we'll start with a very simple tool of astrology. It is the horoscope. And the horoscope comes from the Sanskrit word hora, which in turn comes from a deeper explanation, the deeper etymology of hora, which is ahoratri. Ahoratri means day and night, the repetitive cycles of life on earth. It's enshrined within the two halves of life, that is day and night. So day and night have strong effects on human beings. So let's just begin with that simple aspect of time. Day and night are the most recognizable attributes of time. Day is the morning when the sun is shining, and it ends when the sun sets, and night begins from there on, and it ends when the sun rises. So this is day and night. It does not begin at an imaginary 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock that have been given to us by the British. It begins at precise times: sunrise, midday, sunset, and then midnight, and again sunrise. So that is one full day, and it has precise scientific measurements. That is the actual value of a day. So let's begin from the unit of time. When time, place, and situation come together, that's a horoscope. Let's come to the definition of a horoscope. A horoscope is a diagrammatic depiction of how the skies looked like when you were born. Simple terms. And taking it a level further, a horoscope is your personal karmic profile. So the different deeds that you have committed in your previous birth are synchronized into one karmic account for you, and this karmic account details how your future would be based on your previous actions. So you have a lot of power, we have a lot of power in designing our future by performing different actions. So our actions in the present, every single action in the present contributes to your future. So that is a karmic profile, and your horoscope helps you to understand how your future would be based on the planetary situations, planetary or stellar situations, the celestial bodies and their permutations and combinations in the sky when you were born is turned into a diagrammatic depiction, a diagrammatic expression, which is known as a horoscope. Now, the different styles of writing a horoscope, but the style does not matter here. The theory behind a horoscope is just that, say a person was born around 17 March 1989. And the different planetary combinations around that person in the zodiac. The zodiac is a 360-degree belt, which I'll also show you in a 3D animation next. But before that, the theory is that when a person or event or business or government is formed, the different planetary situations surrounding that event, based on the precise latitude and longitude of that event and the precise time when that event began or occurred, is taken as the basis for creating a horoscope. So it's basically a picture of the skies when that person was born. Just take it in a simple way. It's a picture of the skies when that event or person was born. Such horoscopes can be created for countries. They can be created for people based on the birth time, for countries based on the time when a significant event was enacted for the country to come into picture. For example, if we take China, the country was created on a particular day when the important person of the country, the statesman of the country, announced the constitution or announced the important events that are coming in the country. So this could be the same for any country, in spite of the differences that each country have in terms of the political ideologies. The time when they begin is very important for drafting a horoscope. The same way, for example, a stock exchange begins, or a company lists its stock on a stock exchange, it impacts that company's financial future. In the same way, when an individual is born at a particular date and time, at an exact latitude and longitude, a place on earth, we calculate a horoscope based on these events and understand the future of that person's life. Of course, we cannot be 100% true, but the horoscope has different tools and accessories for us to understand this. Since it's an exact mirror of our karmic profile, we can actually excavate a lot of truths from each and every horoscope. It's an enormous subject and it encompasses a lot of detail, so it's impossible to understand it in one single session. So I would just like to give you simple terms without any advanced technical details in today's video. So a horoscope is a diagrammatic depiction. It's very simple. It's a picture of the skies when you were born. And I'll show you the 3D animation next. So we are born at a time, place and situation that is according to our individual actions. So there are some positive actions, there are some negative actions. Some common ones would be, I help an old person walking on a street and trying to cross the traffic. I help him just walking through it. And a negative action would be trying to kill an animal for your own pleasure or just because of some sadism. And there are a lot of people doing it today, because of which we are having so much suffering. Not to say that those who are non-violent will not face any suffering, but at some point of time, in the previous births, so it's not only this birth, my dear friends, to summarize the law of karma, our life, our existence does not end with this birth. We continue. It's only the body that changes. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinhati naroparani. The Bhagavad Gita says that this body is just a piece of cloth, and we are just changing this attire every time we die and we're reborn, and it's a new attire, but the soul remains the same. Our intrinsic attributes remain the same. So actions are constant, and when a person dies and is reborn, there is still continuity. There is always continuity. There is no break. The person is just changing his attire, and there is action being performed constantly. And each action has an equal reaction that is decided according to the law of karma, which is always constant. Just like we have the Supreme Courts in different countries, we have governments, we have so many different powerful authoritarian, law enforcing institutions. There is one supreme law enforcing natural law which does not need to be enforced. First of all, it is a natural law that is automatically applied to each one of us. So today, if I decide to cause harm to some being, a human or an animal, I'll better pay back for it someday. It's impossible to go away without it. So thinking, every single thing that happens in the micro form is also happening in the macro form. So we need to understand this intrinsic attribute of Mother Nature. We all have to pay back for our misdeeds, and we all have to be rewarded for our good deeds. It's a simple law, and our horoscope just reflects this. It just reflects our karmic profile. And the technical details of how a horoscope is calculated will be talked about in a separate video in more detail, but I'll just show you how a horoscope is calculated based on three things. One is the latitude and longitude of the place when a person is born, the exact location when the person is born, the geolocation, and the second is the date and the time, and the third attribute necessary is the person, the subject himself. Or herself. So any individual born, it could also be an animal. So you can create horoscopes for anything. We generally stick to things that are important for people and for the world, but you can even create a horoscope for an ant. A horoscope is possible for any event in the world, and it does affect every single individual. So the planets and the stars, it would be certainly foolish, even coming from the base location of theory. To all naysayers, I would like to say that it would be certainly foolish to say that this Earth, which is a tiny speck of dust in our universe, is not affected by so many permutations and combinations of different types of energies that we have not yet explored or even experienced in this universe. So there's so many things going on, and we just know a few different types of energy now. There could be more types of energy. We know the energy of gravitational power. We know light energy. We know different forms of physical energy. Without getting into the details, we do not know many forms of energy. We have not yet explored Mother Nature. So at the moment, it's not possible to explain the exact scientific method of how astrology works and how the planets affect us directly. But we are able to see it. So that's the only form of proof we have now. and the rest is left to people with immense curiosity and with the resources and understanding, the talent to understand it, to dig deep further and understand how these planets affect us. For now, it's a mystery, but it's really working. We are able to see its effects. So, to wrap it up, here it is. A horoscope is a combination of date and time of an event and the place of an event and the subject combined together. It creates a horoscope and it details you about your future. It's your karmic profile. And now we'll head on to how a horoscope is calculated.
Now I would like to explain how the horoscope, which we generally perceive in the form of a little box drawn by astrologers, and some of us think it's an imaginary box and it has no meaning whatsoever. I would like to explain in this video how this box is calculated. Now, I'm just taking the reference of this astrological software Jagannath Hora, and it shows a few boxes along with a few symbols inside the boxes. This might sound like some superstitious bunch of numbers that have been placed in boxes just because of the imagination of some particular person. No. Astrology is a deep science, and I'm going to show you the scientific background behind this so that we can relate, because in the 21st century people are having a basic disconnect. They're not able to understand how the ancient sciences are relevant. I would like to bring back this bridge, and here, as we can see today, this is how the sky looks, actually speaking, rid of the atmosphere. I've just removed the atmosphere temporarily in the software Stellarium so that you can see the planets devoid of the atmosphere. The time, the local time here, I've taken Ujjain as the location. The local time here is 2:30. So say a baby was born at 2:30 in the center of this land at Ujjain, and here is the latitude and longitude of the place where this person is born. And the time is 2:30 and it's still ticking. So say a child was born right now. How do the planets align for this particular child? That is shown in the form of a horoscope. So if you go to an astrologer creates this horoscope for you. Now this might sound a little bit superstitious or confusing for certain people. In order to dispel this confusion, I would like to show you how it looks in the real skies. And now let's take off the landscape as well so we can see what's below. First things first, the child is born in the center of the land. Towards the east of the land is his ascendant. Ascendant is the Lagna in Sanskrit. It is the place where each one of these signs or constellations, because this zodiac that we can see here is 360 degrees. It's a belt, and this belt actually traverses around the earth. I'm just showing you the the belt and how it looks exactly. So a line running through this circle that we can see is the zodiac. So now we can see that each of these signs are actually emerging through the east, and the ones that rise through the east are basically the ascendants of that particular person. So again, bringing back the landscape, the ascendant of the person who is born is towards the eastern direction of the birthplace, and towards the eastern direction we have certain planets and stars, and of course, who are present in certain locations, and based on that the person's life is actually predicted. So these planets have a very strong influence on the person. For example, the east, which is the rising place of the sun, is always the rising area. One by one, these signs, just like the sun, these signs actually come above the horizon. The horizon is this level that we can see, an imaginary level. They call it imaginary, but it's actually very energetic. Modern science is unable to fathom the energies that are present at the horizon level, and one by one these signs and constellations, they keep rising, and they have different effects on different people. So towards the east, for now, at this particular time, we are having the Kataka Rashi. The Kataka Rashi is just about to rise. I'm removing the landscape so you can see this. This is Cancer, or this is Kataka, as you can see. Kataka Rashi is the sign that is of Cancer. So this child who is born at 2:33 p.m. In Ujjain is having the sign of Cancer slowly rising towards the east. Therefore, the child is born in the sign of Cancer. Now, coming back to this astrological diagram, you can understand easily why we have Cancer written up here as the ascendant for the child. In the same way, The seventh house is the house of opposition or of spouse. So let's just move to the western direction where we are supposed to have Sun, Saturn, Venus, and Mars. So that's again the west, and we have all these three planets posited in the western side of this particular horoscope. Now the horoscope is itself the sky. In simple words, the horoscope is a diagrammatic representation of how the planets, stars, and constellations were aligned during the birth of a particular person, event, or a country, or a business also. So the birth of anything is ruled by a horoscope, and the horoscope is nothing but a diagrammatic representation of how these celestial bodies were posited during the time of birth. I'm also showing you the same thing is in this horoscope. So in this horoscope, AS stands for the ascendant. It rules what is there in the eastern direction from the place of birth. And Venus, Saturn, and Mars are towards the 7th house, or approximately 180 degrees away from the ascendant. Each planet has its own position in this zodiac, and these positions are marked with specific numbers based on the degree they are present in the 360 degree zodiac. Now this 360 degree belt is very significant for all of us. It has a very strong significance, and exactly below the human birth is the adhisthana, or the support, the base. This rules our properties, the assets that we hold in life, and the happiness that continues to move us forward. The vehicles which take us, all this is located towards the exact bottom from the birthplace. The planets and stars located toward the bottom of the birthplace, they rule our destiny in terms of happiness, in terms of vehicles, in terms of wealth relating to fixed property, etc. So that's again the 4th house. And if we go directly above this particular sign, we can see that the planets located and posited above us when we are born, directly above us when we are born, they rule our career, our societal well-being, the way we transact with society, our reputation. All of this is ruled by the 10th house. And the planets and stars and constellations, their positions and their interactions, known as position, aspect, and conjunction, different permutations and combinations of these planets and their positions, they reveal a very powerful horoscope. If understood properly, the complexity will wane away. If not understood properly, this situation will create confusion. Now each one of these planets have their own positions, and for everyone born during this time frame, exact to the minute, we can understand that these planetary degrees are constantly changing. So every second we have some or the other movement in the skies which is actually changing the destiny of people born at those particular moments, or of countries or events happening in those particular moments. It is the basis of most of the predictions I have made till date about the world, about the markets, about the economy, about particular people, are based on the horoscope. And the horoscope is not an imaginary box. It is a divine truth that is enshrined in the skies, in the zodiac. So you too can explore it with deep research and analysis. Try to go to stellarium-web.org and explore the planets, stars, and constellations yourself. Thank you.